Well, welcome everybody to our February meeting. It's really good to see you here. I'll just get my advance to start working here. There we go. So this is our agenda for tonight. I've got a little bit of a tech tip after I do some news. We'll have Dave Obi speak about Between Friends, Entre Amis. And then we will go after that and show some of our upcoming meetings. So the Durham Region Branch acknowledges the lands and peoples of the Mississaugas of Skugog Island, First Nation, the Chippewas of Georgina Island, First Nation, and a large Métis community. We recognize the lands on which we gather are covered under the Williams Treaties and rest within the traditional territory of the Mississaugas. We honor, recognize, and respect these nations as the traditional stewards of the lands and waters on which we meet. So, and here's an update on our website. I thank everybody for their patience in trying to get a hold of us and find out information about our meetings. We're still unable to edit or add to the website, our website that's basically frozen to us. Although most of the links seem to be working if you actually go to it. We are now using a temporary website. It's under timetraces.com/Durham branch. I think that last / is optional, but try it either way. We are working on a refresh of the website and clean up since we have to get it ready to try and host it somehow. The active one has Dave's picture, Dave Obi's picture, and a little disclaimer box right here that lets you know you're on the temporary website, and that's where you'll find anything we add at this point. And I have requested to have this on the OGS website, going to this temporary spot for now. I haven't heard back whether they're able to do it or not. And if that wasn't enough, we're also having problems with bounced emails on our OGS Outlook mail accounts when we send out our research reports. We've also had instances where the emails didn't bounce back to us and didn't make it to the intended recipient. So in the meantime, if you are expecting an email from our branch and you haven't received an answer within a reasonable amount of time, just alert us, let us know, and that we can, we'll pick one of our personal email accounts and send it on to you again. Moving on, don't forget to register for the Ontario Ancestors Conference in mid-June. They do have a blog where they post some updates, if they've got a new speaker coming in, that sort of thing. And that's the address in the middle, right here for the blog. Just take the original one and add conference-blog. This year's Ontario Ancestors webinar series are now a member benefit, and $10 for each for non-members. So check out the lineup. There's the website, the page in the main website. Check out the lineup, and maybe buying a membership could be a smart move for you. The next one is March the 7th with Catherine Lake Hogan, but I'll be advertising it more in our March 5th meeting. In local news, the Uxbridge Genealogical Group, who meets at the Uxbridge Public Library, the third Thursday of every month, they have got Ken McKinley lined up with a back to basics in your Irish research. They do charge $5 at the door if you're not a member. You can become a member for $25 per year, and only members get the Zoom link to participate if you're at any distance. Also in local news, the Lakeshore Genealogical Society has got one of our key members from the Scottish SIG going to talk about online sources for the Scottish research, Christine Woodcock. And at this point in time, you email them and they send you the link for joining the email. Having said that, I've got a little tech tip for you. So just give me a minute while I switch PowerPoints. So I don't know if you're like me, but you sign up for a lot of webinars and you get that lovely email that gives you a nice big button to push, and the webinar is a month and a half away. And you just know by the time you get to that date, you'll never find the email again. So here's what I do. There. Okay, I don't do this often enough. So a couple of weeks ago, I got my e-weekly into my Gmail. And I hope you've all subscribed to the Ontario Ancestors e-weekly newsletter. It's really, really good. But browsing through, I found this great speaker and his topic, and I registered for this Zoom presentation. And it said, okay, you're going to get your confirmation email, as they mostly do. And indeed I did, but this meeting was February the 1st, and I knew by the time that time came around, I'd have probably 100 or so emails on top of it. So if you want, and this doesn't just apply to Zoom emails, if you've got important emails that you just can't deal with right now, and you just want to put it off a day or two, this works for that as well. It's called snoozing. So you snooze your email, and this is how you do it. The icon is the little, for the snooze option, looks like a clock, can be found in a couple of spots on Gmail, both in the email itself, the preview, but also up on a main action bar here. Pick that and you get a nice drop down. They make some suggestions for you. I always use the pick date and time. And when you do that one, it comes up with a calendar, so you can pick the date. And then you can even pick the time that you want it to come. And you click save. And this moves you over into your snoozed folder, which I didn't even know existed until I put one in there. So once that first snoozed email gets in there, that category will also start showing up on your left panel. You can see them anytime you want by clicking on that category, and they come in date arranged order. Please note, this is the one that I am demoing with, but the Durham branch social drop-in, when you register for it, it's for a series of meetings. So I just keep snoozing it. At the end of the meeting that I had in January, I snoozed it now to show up in February. So this is what you receive when you register for our social drop-in. You get a list of the recurring dates. I got this list last October, and as each meeting ends, I just keep snoozing it. I had another snoozed email for another meeting, and it came to the top of my inbox, and it told me when I snoozed it. Of course, I snoozed it an hour before just for this presentation. And remember, this can work for any email, not just your Zoom one. If you get an email and it needs more time for you to answer it, you can snooze it to another date. And at that time, it will come in at the very top of your inbox, which is so useful. So the only other email client that I have is Outlook. I can't speak to other email providers, But now that you know this exists, you can go search for it. And this particular screenshot is from Outlook. Again, it is the clock item. So that's probably what you'll need to be looking for if you use a different email program. And this is the Outlook snoozed. It's down below the inbox. Okay. So I can answer questions about that if you have it after the main presentation. So let me just switch back and bring up sorry, getting ahead of myself here. So I'd like to introduce Dave Obey. He's one of our favorite speakers. And I have lost my presenter view that had all the information. I do know that Dave has been in the newspaper field, he told me, for 52 years. Yeah, he's nodding. That's good. He's received an honorary doctorate for all his work in both newspapers, genealogy, and the community. He runs 2 sites, Can Genealogy, which is a link site to all things Canadian. He runs another one called Volhynia.com, which is about a small town in the northern Ukraine, I believe. Dave?
That's correct. Yep.
Yep. Getting another nod.
Yep.
And his full bio, which would probably take me 10 minutes to read out to you, is on daveobey.com. And you want to write that email down, and Dave will tell you why sometime during his presentation, because that's where you're going to find the handout. So at this point, I will stop sharing my screen and let Dave put up his presentation. So just to remind you that you need to go to daveobey.com. I did post that in the chat to get the handout. This is my monthly plea for volunteers. If you have a particular strength in something, I'm sure we have a project that could use your talents. Upcoming meetings, our next meeting in March is Dr. Amy Barron is going to talk about Camp 30, Bowmanville's German POWs. And here's the information. How did Bowmanville Boys Reform School end up housing top-ranking German POWs in the Second World War? Durham region played many parts in the overseas war effort, including hosting important German officers whose one mission to get back to Germany led to many interesting escape attempts. Life in Camp 30 had many interesting ups and downs, from local recreation activities to the Battle of Bowmanville. And what will become of this important national historic site now? So Dr. Barron received her PhD in the field of Mesopotamian history and archaeology. She has taught archaeology, ancient history, and classics at the Universities of Toronto and Guelph, and presently teaches museum studies in Fleming College's postgraduate program in Peterborough. So that should be a really interesting meeting as well. Meetings after that, we're going to see Cher Latouze in person. She's a local author and researcher and gardener and historian, and always entertaining. So here's a teaser. Sometimes we lose our ancestors, not because they died or we're not doing a very good search, but because they moved away. And most of the time we don't know and we'll never know why they moved. In May, we've got Beth Adams with Following the Trails of the Betts Bibles, and her little teaser is, it took close to 20 years to follow the trail from Betts Family Bible in Pickering to an older one in California that led back to family roots in colonial Connecticut. So that should be exciting. really like to know how to track down those family Bibles. DNA Special Interest Group, February the 21st. Let me know if you want to be added to our email group to get the link. We hold our meetings on Jitsi, February 21st at 7 p.m. During my little tech tip, I mentioned our Zoom social drop-in research and everything else genealogy, fourth Thursday of each month at 11 a.m. And that date will be the 22nd of February this month. So come and join us. It's a very laid back, casual conversation type of a meeting. Our research room is located at Northminster United Church. We're open Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 10 to 1. We do ask you to make an appointment with Stephen Wood at Durham Research at ogs.on.ca because we can't always count on the front door of the church being opened and we won't hear you knocking. So please make an appointment. We have an incredible library to come and do research in. So, and everybody's welcome. As always, if you find what we've been doing and the speakers we have scheduled are valuable to you, we invite you to go to our donation button on the left side of our website homepage and make a donation. We use Canada Help's website and you will receive a tax receipt automatically by email. This is our contact information, and at this point, I am going to stop sharing and see if there's anybody who wants to have a talk or ask a question. We can let you either type it in the chat or you can raise your hand in the reactions button. And we can ask you to open your mic and talk to us. Okay, I have a message. This is good. Anne says we had an interesting talk about people who went from the States to Canada because they were kidnapped. Yes, we did. It was a historian, but I believe she only let us keep the meeting recording on our members only for a couple of months. So we can't send you to a link on YouTube, unfortunately. But it was during the French and Indian Wars, I believe, where the Indians would take their captives from New England up to Quebec, and they would be indentured up in Quebec. Many of them stayed. Does anyone have any burning questions? Okay.
Nancy?
Yes, Pat?
I have a question. It's not related to the presentation tonight, but it's related to conference.
Okay.
I saw that there is a talk being given by Mags Golden on the Friday night. But if you're not going to the food event, the barbecue, can you also go to the talk? Would you know?
If you have registered for the weekend, the Friday night stuff is included.
Okay. Registered for Saturday and Sunday, but not Friday
That's
night.
correct. Friday night.
Too bad.
Yeah, if you registered for the conference, I didn't notice whether they had a daily registration, but like for Saturday and Sunday, but it always includes Friday night if you've got the weekend booked.
Okay. Because that looked interesting. That Friday
Good,
night talk.
good.
Yes. The
Yeah,
seven words you can't say in genealogy.
well, I'll tell you one that you can say, and that's help, because we will definitely help people.
Yes, yes. It should be interesting.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Now, Carolyn said Dave said he wasn't too knowledgeable about all the details of research in Ontario. Who would be? Well, for now, Ogdensburg, I think, Carolyn, were you the one who was talking about people going to Ogdensburg? Ogdensburg? No, you were the one who talked about family who went from New York to Crammy Township, Northumberland. That's correct. Okay. You can contact the branch that is in your area of interest, because they are the boots on the ground, and know a lot more about the culture and records of the area. So I'm talking OGS branches. Historical societies and museums can also help you, or if they actually have an archives, that could help as well. The I guess another way to find out more about Ontario databases or records or archives. The Family Search Wiki has a couple of articles on researching in Ontario. And Durham actually, okay, Carolyn's just put in, I think Durham is about the closest to Crammy. We may be the closest to Crammy, but the branch that covers it is Kawartha branch in Northumberland. But you know who you probably would do well to contact, as well as that Lakeshore Genealogical Society that I was mentioning. So let me go back and get you the email address, because Coburg's either in or very close to Crammy Township. So let me just have a quick look here. Find my slide. There it is. So here, share my screen. There we go. Hopefully I'm showing it. The email that I have, and the website is lakeshoregenealogicalsociety.ca. The email is lgsregister@gmail.com, and they could put you in touch with somebody at their group that might be able to help you. I hope that helps.
Hi, Nancy.
Yes, Stacy, go ahead.
Crammy Township is right next to Brighton Township, so she could also try Trees by Dan. Dan Buchanan. That's a site that I don't go into because I don't have any people here, but he's probably going into Crammy. So you're a couple of townships away from Coburg. That would be the biggest, and there's also an archives in Brighton. I think it's only online.
Okay. So what was the first one you said? Something by Dan?
Trees by Dan.
Trees
You
by
could just
Dan.
look up Dan Buchanan. He's our history guy.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your boots on the ground down around Trenton, etc., Brighton area. Okay. Anybody else have a question? But don't forget to use the Family Search Wiki for any area you're interested in looking at and finding records for. I think, and Cindy's list would have links to various websites. And of course, we've got Dave Obie's Can Genealogy. He is a great link site. And of course, Ontario is in Canada, so he'll have links too. So I think those are kind of the three best places to start. Okay. Not seeing any other chats or any hands up. I will declare the meeting closed and invite everybody to come out to our March meeting where we have an interesting talk about German POWs in Bowmanville. Good night, everybody.